Before we begin our file, if you enjoy my channel, please subscribe. It really helps in making new stories for you. I found a love letter hidden inside our wedding album. Not on her phone or buried in an email account. Not forgotten in a coat pocket or shoved into the glove compartment. It was inside the one thing that was supposed to hold the happiest memories of our marriage. My wife's name was Evelyn, and I'm Jonah. We had been married for 12 years. And for most of that time, our wedding album sat on the highest shelf of our bedroom closet. Our names pressed into the front. Our wedding date underneath. I used to think of it as proof. Proof that we had chosen each other. Proof that our life together had started with love. I had no idea it was hiding evidence of something else. This is file number 012. I found a love letter hidden inside our wedding album, and the man who wrote it had been standing 10 feet away while I said my vows. It happened on a Sunday afternoon. Evelyn was visiting her sister, and I was clearing out the bedroom closet because we were planning to repaint. The album was covered in dust, and it was heavier than I remembered. I carried it downstairs, set it on the dining table, and opened it. The first page showed Evelyn getting ready. Her mother was fixing her veil. Evelyn was looking into the mirror with that nervous little smile I had loved for 12 years. I turned the page. There was the ceremony, our first kiss as a married couple. The two of us walking back down the aisle while everyone threw white petals into the air. For a few minutes, I forgot all about the closet. I just sat there looking at the beginning of our life together. Then something slipped out from behind the back cover. A cream-colored envelope landed on the table. It was old and completely flat, like it had been pressed between those pages for years. The seal had been opened carefully. My name was not on it, only hers. The handwriting looked masculine. I cannot explain how I knew that. Some truths seem to reach your body before your mind is caught up. I unfolded the letter. The date at the top was 3 days before our wedding. Then I read the first sentence. Evelyn, I watched you choose your wedding flowers today, and all I could think about was room 417. I stopped. Read it again. Room 417. The rest of the letter was worse. You told me part of you still belonged to me. You said marrying Jonah was the right decision, but you never said it was what your heart wanted. I could feel my hands starting to shake. The man wrote that he would wait for her after the rehearsal dinner. He said that if she went through with the wedding, it did not have to mean the end of them. Then I found the line that changed the shape of the entire marriage. I will still be there every Thursday until you tell me to stop. Every Thursday. For the first 4 years of our marriage, Evelyn went out every Thursday night. Book club. That was what she called it. Sometimes she came home carrying a book. Sometimes she complained that no one had finished the chapters they were supposed to discuss. Sometimes she smelled like wine. Sometimes she went straight to the shower. I had never questioned it. Why would I? She was my wife. He trusted her. Now I was sitting at the table with a letter in my hands while 12 years of memories started moving around in my head. Thursday dinners alone. Thursday messages telling me the discussion was running late. Thursday nights when she said not to wait up. The letter was signed with one name. Theo Mercer. I knew him. Not well, but I knew him and he had been at our wedding. Evelyn introduced him as an old friend from college. He shook my hand before the ceremony, congratulated me, told me I was a lucky man. Men who are sleeping with your future wife really seem to enjoy telling you how lucky you are. I went back through the wedding photographs. It did not take long to find him. Theo stood near the back during the ceremony. Dark suit, blue tie. There was one photograph of Evelyn walking down the aisle. Everyone was looking at her. Everyone except Theo. Theo was looking directly at me. I had seen that picture dozens of times. I had never noticed him before. Now he was the only person I could see. I took photos of the letter with my phone. Every page. Both sides of the envelope. The date. The signature. Then I put it back exactly where I had found it. Not because I was trying to protect Evelyn. I just needed time. A letter written before our wedding did not automatically prove that something continued afterward. Maybe she had ended it. Maybe she had chosen me and regretted whatever happened before. Maybe she kept the letter because she was ashamed and did not know how to get rid of it. I gave myself every possible explanation. They lasted about 20 minutes. Then I remembered our old laptop. Evelyn had stopped using it years earlier. The battery was dead, so it only worked when it was plugged in. I found it inside a desk drawer and carried it to the dining table. The screen took forever to turn on. There were old vacation photos, tax documents, music files, folders neither of us had touched in years. I searched for Theo. Nothing. Then Mercer. Still nothing. Then I searched for room 417. One result appeared. An archived email. The subject line was simple. Thursday. It had been sent 18 months after our wedding. The message came from an address I did not recognize. There was only one sentence. Same room. I'll be there after 8. Evelyn's reply was underneath. I'll tell Jonah the book club changed locations. I stared at those words until they stopped feeling real. A whole marriage reduced to one sentence. I'll tell Jonah. I searched the email address. More messages appeared. Dozens of them. Some had been archived. Others were buried inside folders named things like household receipts and volunteer schedules. The oldest messages were from before the wedding. The newest ones were from 5 years into our marriage. 5 years. Not one night. Not one mistake made in a moment of panic. 5 years of hotel rooms, parking garages, lunches, and Thursday evenings. 5 years of messages written while I was probably sitting a few rooms away. One email had been sent on our 3rd anniversary. Evelyn wrote, Jonah made reservations tonight. I can meet you tomorrow. Theo replied, I hate sharing you with the life you chose. Her answer was 2 words. I know. Not, this is wrong. Not, I love my husband. Not, we need to stop. Just, I know. I started printing everything. I did not have an attorney yet. I was not even sure what I planned to do. I just needed the betrayal to exist somewhere outside that screen. Screens can be closed. Emails can disappear. Paper stays where you put it. I placed the letter, the printed messages, and the wedding photograph inside a black folder. On the tab, I wrote, File number 012. Evelyn came home around 6. She walked into the kitchen carrying pastries from her sister's favorite bakery. She kissed me on the cheek and asked whether I had chosen a paint color. I looked at her and wondered how many times Theo had kissed her before she came home and kissed me. I said, I found the wedding album. Her expression shifted. It was small. A pause. A little tension around her eyes. Then the smile came back. Where was it? Exactly where we left it. I placed the album on the table. She looked at it. Then she looked at me. I opened the back cover. The envelope was still there. The color left her face before I even pulled it out. She knew. She did not ask what it was. She did not look confused. She simply sat down. That was when the last part of me that wanted an innocent explanation gave up. I placed the letter between us. Who is Theo? She closed her eyes. Jonah. Who is Theo? You know who he is? No. I know who you told me he was. Her eyes filled with tears. He was someone I dated in college. Someone you dated? Yes. I pointed at the letter. 3 days before our wedding, he was writing to you about room 417. She put a hand over her mouth. I waited. I wanted an explanation. A confession. Anything honest. Finally, she whispered, I was scared. Scared of marrying me? Scared of everything changing. So you slept with him? She looked down. That was my answer. Something inside me became very still, and I felt empty. She reached toward the letter. I pulled it away. It ended before the wedding, she said. For half a second, I wanted to believe her. Then I opened the black folder. I placed the first printed email on the table. Same room. I'll tell Jonah the book club changed locations. Evelyn stared at it. Then I placed another one beside it. Our 3rd anniversary. Then another. A hotel confirmation. Then another message from the 5th year of our marriage. One by one, the table filled with Thursdays. Do not tell me it ended before the wedding. She started crying. Not the quiet tears people use to soften a room. She was really crying. But real tears do not make a lie more honest. How long? I asked. She whispered, 5 years. I nodded. I already knew. Still, I needed to hear her say it. There are answers that do not feel complete until the person responsible speaks them out loud. Why did it stop? She hesitated. Theo moved. I looked at her. That was it. Not because she chose me, not because she decided she could not keep hurting me, not because guilt finally became stronger than desire. Theo moved. She tried to take my hand. I moved it away. Did you love him? I thought I did. And me? I loved you too. Betrayal always seems to want credit for loving more than one person, as though that makes the lying less cruel. It does not. It only means one person knew the truth while the other lived inside a performance. I asked her why she kept the letter. She looked down at the wedding album. I don't know. Yes, you do. She cried harder. Then she finally said it. Because it reminded me that someone wanted me before I became your wife. That hurt in a way I had not expected. Before I became your wife. As if marrying me had erased who she was. As if our home and our years together were something that had happened to her. I closed the album. You were never just my wife. She looked at me. You were my partner. You were my family. You were the person I trusted more than anyone. My voice broke. And you hid a memory of betraying me inside our wedding album. The next morning, I called an attorney named Grace Hall. I took file number 012 to her office. She read the letter, looked through the emails, then studied the photograph of Theo standing in the background of our ceremony. When she finished, she closed the folder. This must have been difficult to collect, I said. Collecting it was easy. She waited. Living inside it without knowing was the difficult part. The divorce took 6 months. Evelyn apologized more times than I can count. She said Theo represented freedom, youth, a version of herself she thought she had lost. She insisted the affair had ended years ago and that she had been faithful ever since. Maybe she had. But years of silence do not turn an old lie into loyalty. They only give it more time to settle into your life. She asked if 12 good years meant nothing. I told her they meant everything. That was the problem. Our marriage had not been fake. We had laughed together. We had taken trips. We had cared for each other when we were sick. We had shared real grief when her father died. I had loved her. Part of her may have loved me too. A completely false marriage would have been easier to leave. Ours was real. It was just missing the truth. I had been living inside the version she edited for me. On the day we signed the final papers, Evelyn brought the wedding album. She placed it on the table between us. I don't want it, she said. I looked at the silver lettering. Jonah and Evelyn. The date underneath. For months, I had hated that album. I hated the photos. I hated Theo standing at the back of the ceremony. I hated the hidden space behind the cover. Most of all, I hated that something filled with happy memories had become evidence. I pushed it back toward her. I don't want it either. We left it on the table. I never found out what happened to it. Maybe Evelyn took it? Maybe someone placed it in a lost property cabinet. Maybe it ended up inside another box. It did not matter anymore. For a while, I stopped taking photographs. I did not trust them. A smiling picture could hide an argument. A wedding photo could hide a lover. An album could hide a letter. 9 months after the divorce, I took a trip by myself. Nothing dramatic, just a few days in a small town near the coast. The air was cold. The streets were quiet. My hotel room faced the water. On the second morning, I woke up before sunrise. I walked down to the beach with a cup of coffee. The sky was gray at first, then orange, then gold. Without really thinking about it, I pulled out my phone and took a photograph. Just the water, the sunrise, the corner of my coffee cup at the bottom of the frame. No one posing, no one pretending, no second story hidden outside the picture. When I got home, I printed it. Then I bought a new photo album. It did not have a black leather cover. There were no silver names or dates on the front. It was blue, simple, completely empty. I placed the sunrise on the first page. Under the photo, I wrote one word. Next. I did not need to erase the 12 years that came before. They were part of my life. Some of those memories were still real, even if Evelyn had hidden the truth behind them. I just could not let those years control every year that came afterward. That letter showed me the life she had kept from me. It also gave me something I did not expect. A clean beginning. Not the beginning I would have chosen, but one that belonged to me. I found a love letter hidden inside our wedding album. For a long time, I thought it had ruined every photograph inside. It had not. The letter did not erase the life I had lived. It stopped me from spending the rest of my life inside someone else's lie. File number 012 was closed. The old album was gone. The new one had one photograph, a sunrise, a blank page beside it, and hundreds more waiting for memories that did not need to hide anything. Another file closed. Another secret exposed. If you enjoyed this file, leave a like and subscribe to the Eris Files. It really helps the channel grow. Every betrayal leaves a file.